Hey guys, Angus, and today I'm going to give you a full unboxing and also a review of this 4K UHD MoHoo action camera. So I'm not actually going to use the audio from the video that you're looking at, and that's actually because the audio didn't work properly. I recorded this a while back and it just wasn't very successful. But anyway, let's get on with the unboxing. The packaging is fairly nice. This is actually a pretty damn budget action camera compared to GoPros. I'm not going to lie, throughout this review it's going to be almost impossible to avoid not talking about GoPros, and then again it basically is a exact rip-off. Has exactly the same design, same measurements, same shape, same everything. But I guess that's not a bad thing because I've absolutely loved GoPros over the years and I love the way they make things, but now it looks like they've got a major competitor, and it's not just one, it's hundreds. In the unboxing, you actually get loads of accessories, probably quite a bit more than you would usually get with a GoPro. I owned a GoPro Hero 4 Silver, and it was absolutely fantastic. But impressively, at just £50, this can record 4K footage at 25 frames a second. It's a bit of a weird frame rate, but it's impressive for its money. And you could possibly say it's the cheapest 4K recording camera in the world. So of course it has a waterproof shell, and we've got loads of other screws as well, and we're going to be given accessories for mounts for helmets and for loads and loads of other sports. Of course I actually do have a GoPro accessory bundle, and of course one of the main benefits of this action camera is that it has exactly the same compatibilities as the GoPro accessories. So any GoPro accessory you have will most likely work with this one. In the box it comes with literally everything you need. Of course there are some accessories that are missing, but again you can just easily get these off Amazon because it doesn't have its own sort of selection of accessories. These will work with any accessories. As I was saying, with the GoPro accessory compatibility, of course it won't work with, like, say, the separate models, so batteries from GoPro won't work in this. But anything that's basically outside the case will, which is really good actually, because one of the main features of the brand was that it had a fantastic range of accessories, and it means that I don't have to throw any of my GoPro accessories away. So one weird thing about the MoHoo action camera is that whenever you plug it into power, it actually powers on automatically, and you have basically no choice over this. It will power on whether you like it or not, and I find that a little bit annoying because most devices actually recommended not to power on while charging, but this is something that you just need to take into account. Now, it's going to be almost impossible to actually avoid saying the word, but even the button layout is exactly the same as GoPro's. It has the same sort of method for going through the menus, and even the GUI just feels a little bit similar as well. As you can see, it can even record 60 frames a second at 1080p, which is just so impressive at this price. If you scroll through the menu, you'll find that you've got loads of settings for time lapses, changing the exposure, video resolution, or whatever you want, which is actually really impressive. The screen isn't perfect, but then again, I'm not really going to complain. GoPro have a screen size almost exactly the same as this. The resolution isn't that important, and I found that, you know, the viewing angles and the brightness of this isn't amazing, but I'm not going to have high expectations for the display. But at this price point, it does its job well. So now let's actually get on to the ports. On the left side of the body of the action camera, we have one micro SD card port, then we have a micro USB port, and then lastly a micro HDMI port. So the body kind of has like this rubbery shell, and the buttons are fairly thin, but they're actually quite responsive and also easy to press as well. You do have the option for it to like make a notification bleep whenever you press it, but of course you can turn that off as well. The dimensions feel exactly the same as the GoPro, even like the size of the lens. And you've still got, you know, a range of resolutions and frame rates that you can shoot at. And of course, once you've got full battery and a free micro SD card, you can start shooting away. Now, I actually have done 2 full videos dedicated to the actual quality of it, but I'll get on to that in a sec. One annoying thing I found is that it's actually really awkward to get access to the battery compartment if you don't have nails. If you do have nails, then this will be fine, but if you don't, you're probably going to need to get some scissors or something to get access to it, because the battery is removable. So of course that does mean you can buy more batteries, and it means you can swap them out. Personally, I don't know how cheap they are, and I don't know how available they are as well, but one big problem is that I found it was awkward to get access to it. The battery life seemed actually quite impressive as well. Filming at 1080p 60 fps, I managed to get around 2 full hours of this, which is pretty good. And of course, with micro USB as well, it's really easy to charge, and you've got great compatibility there as well. So in terms of the battery life of this action camera, I had absolutely no complaints. It also comes with the standard waterproof case. Now, I don't actually know the exact range of how far this can go underwater, and I haven't fully tested its capabilities, but put it this way, I've used this while paintballing, and it's been fired directly at the middle of the lens, and it's been absolutely fine. As you can see, it's even got the same mechanism as the GoPros, same button layout, and also the sort of 2 slots at the bottom, which can connect to things like head mounts and chest mounts as well. I think the only complaint I found with the case is that it steamed up and also fogged up pretty easily, but then again, you know, it's not exactly very high quality, and also not to mention it's a very low budget action camera as well. So overall, I think the body is actually really impressive, but it's hard to say whether the design is actually that original. So if you couldn't actually care less that this design looks almost exactly like a GoPro, or it might be a rip-off, then this is absolutely perfect for you. It's cheap and it performs really well. However, I'm pretty sure that GoPro are taking many companies like this to court because they have basically stolen the design. At this price point, I honestly think that this action camera is absolutely brilliant, and it truly is excellent value. I've seen many versions of knockoffs on Amazon before, and also eBay, and I truly think that this possibly is one of the best that they've ever made. Although it has taken a lot of design elements, it does in its own way feel genuine and also unique as well. The last thing I have to say about the design of these cameras, and especially this one, is that I honestly hope they increase in popularity, and it's simply because they're actually producing really good cameras on such a low budget. While GoPros are really great, they're also really expensive, and they really are more for enthusiasts rather than people on a budget. So what you're seeing now is actually a production video that I made when I went to go paintballing with my university. I went with Delta Force, and I thought I might give this a go and try it out, and it actually turned out to be really well. I actually filmed this in 1080p at 60 frames a second. Of course, the footage isn't amazing, it definitely feels washy around some areas, and the clarity isn't amazing, but I have to say, for the money, it truly is very impressive. Of course, if you're going to be in well-lit situations, then you're probably going to get some great footage out of it. Of course, if you're going to be in more dark situations, say some woods, then the footage isn't going to be as sharp. I'm not saying the footage here isn't sharp, but I found that the performance wasn't as good as it could have been because it was in a darker situation. GoPros do tend to fail in these situations as well, but I feel the performance wasn't amazing here. Also, it doesn't seem to have any image stabilization as well, so the footage can seem a little bit shaky, but of course if you get it on the right mount, then the footage can seem fine. Of course, you've still got that really wide angle lens, and it looks absolutely fantastic. It does kind of give a very mild fisheye effect, but that is expected, and it looks brilliant. I stuck this using a chest mount, and it worked absolutely fine. I didn't find it too heavy or in the way whatsoever, and I found it easy to operate. Of course, there were times when it was a little bit difficult, because with GoPros you have bleeps, but when you do this, it only bleeps once, and it's hard to determine whether you've turned it off or on, or whether you've started or stopped recording. The fact that this camera can even record footage above 1080p 60 fps at this price point is amazingly impressive. What you're watching now is actually a sort of short film I actually made a couple weeks into moving at Plymouth, and it was just an idea of actually recording 4K footage and sort of reversing all of it to give sort of this interesting style. I have to say the 4K footage isn't amazing, but the fact that you can record in this resolution is very impressive, and you don't have to record in 4K, you can also record in 2.7K, which is brilliant. If you're looking for a easy to use 4K action camera on a budget, then I honestly don't think you're going to find a better model. With performance like this at this price, I definitely have to give it 5 stars. If you're looking for an alternative to a GoPro, then I honestly think this is the best model that you can get. You could easily use this wannabe GoPro style action camera in almost any situation and almost any sport as well. So there's my full review of this action camera. I really do hope that you enjoyed this review. Of course, if you did, then definitely be sure to leave it with a thumbs up, and thank you very much for watching.